Dallas and Fort Worth, this is CBS 11 News at 6 a.m. The ones for Texas.
It's another record cold morning without power in North Texas. Some snow has melted, but now it's icing over again. And it's not a matter of if, but when. Another round of winter weather moves in. We've got team coverage this morning as we get you ready for today and the week ahead. Good morning, and thank you for starting your day with us. I'm Karen Borta. We want to get right to the weather this morning with Elise. Elise, I don't think in my lifetime I've ever seen temperatures this cold, and I'm a native North Texan.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, Karen, and so it's good perspective to get someone like you, to hear from someone like you. It is unusual, to say the very least. We've already had records the past few days, and I expect more records for these temperatures that are dangerous. We're really talking about some life-threatening stuff. In fact, we've dropped to -1 this morning at DFW Airport so far. So we're going to keep watching that, but that is a new record low. Breaking very easily the old record of 12 set back in 1903, a well over 100-year-old record that we're talking about. So we're going to watch these numbers awfully closely through the next couple of days. And as we continue to watch those numbers, switching on over, here we go. There we go. Switching on over to talk about the coldest temperature ever. That would be -8, by the way, set back in 1899. Okay, so the latest right now, our wind chill values mostly below 0. We've got -18 for how it feels in McKinney, -13 in Fort Worth. Actual temperatures, though, yeah, they're still in the negative readings even to the north. That's places like McKinney, Denton, both at -4, Bridgeport -5, Fort Worth, you're at -1. So do take caution, I should say, because this morning in particular, our coldest of the entire week. We are talking about that dangerous temperature trend, but at least through the afternoon, we will see numbers go up slightly. And some wet weather arrives tonight, which we'll get more on coming up in about 15 minutes. Right now it's 6:01. Let's take a look at the roads. Madison?
Hey, good morning, Elise. Well, it just kind of depends on where you're waking up this morning and where you're trying to get to, because the interstates, for the most part, have at least one lane of travel that you can use to get by on. In fact, you can see that clearly dictated from our text.cam on 820, East Loop 820 near Pipeline Road. You can see those 2 lanes of travel that have obviously been driven by quite a few vehicles in the past 24 hours that has caused the snow to melt and at least clear that lane of snow. But I want to show you what it looks like in Parker County. That's where our photojournalist Tim Laveau is driving right now, and there it looks a little better. There's actually 2 lanes of travel that are open, and the snow has pretty much been pushed over to the shoulders of Interstate 20 heading west. But at any point, there could be black ice from a portion where the snow melted and has then refrozen as black ice. So you always want to use extra caution. And the side streets, especially this morning, are still pretty dicey. So especially if you don't have a 4x4 vehicle, you're going to want to avoid those side streets that maybe involve inclines, because those are going to be really difficult to get a two-wheel drive vehicle up. Now, across DFW, we're watching slower than normal drives, and that's because the average speed right now on DFW roads is about 45 miles per hour, which is obviously significantly slower than we're used to seeing. But no matter where you're driving this morning, you're going to want to take that slower pace and give yourself plenty of time and plenty of space between other vehicles, because, Karen, today is definitely a day you could run upon a slick spot at any point and need to stop soon. Exactly. Madison, thank you. Well, first it was the dangerously low temperatures, and now we're dealing with outages that have gone on for more than 24 hours in some cases. Here is a look at the current numbers right now from some of the places that are seeing the highest number of outages. Right now, Tarrant County has the most, with more than 300,000 customers waking up in the dark. Dallas County has more than 270,000 customers without power. And this power squeeze is being described as unprecedented, and the rolling outages could continue at least through today. We know that term rolling is a very loose term. Now, these extended outages are happening because power plants across the state aren't producing power. They've simply broken down in the extreme cold. Downtown Dallas went dark in an effort to try to save as much power as possible. Some lights are still on, but most of the buildings did turn off their decorative exterior lights. The outages left a number of North Texans out in the cold. So the Bailey Hutchison Convention Center has been has been opened as a warming center. Nicole is live there this morning with what the city's mayor has to say about the current situation. Nicole.
Karen, millions of people have been impacted by these rolling outages that are now said to last through today. And one person not mincing any words and expressing his disappointment is Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson. He posted this tweet last night. I've been as frustrated as everyone else. I know this has been an extraordinarily difficult day. These power outages are unacceptable, and ERCOT needs to answer for them. That tweet brought in many comments from people agreeing with the mayor and expressing their frustrations as well with the lack of communication surrounding the outages and concern for the elderly and people with children. ERCOT and one of the biggest power providers, Encore, says they are dealing with two major unprecedented issues, this historic winter storm and their efforts to protect the electric grid.
It's unprecedented. We have never had as serious of a situation with our power grid as we have right now.
The convention center is taking people in over a 24-hour period or on a 24-hour basis. They say this is not considered an overnight shelter, so they're asking people to bring their own food, and they say there aren't enough cots for everyone as well, but the city will provide tables and chairs as well as drinks and snacks. Karen, back into you.
Thank you, Nicole. 3 people from Fort Worth are getting medical treatment in what's believed to be carbon monoxide poisoning. 2 are in critical condition. 1 is in serious condition. All of them were rescued from a house in East Fort Worth last night. Carbon monoxide is odorless and colorless, and it can come from malfunctioning natural gas heaters or other appliances, or generator or engine exhaust that gets into a home. And with so many houses still in the dark this morning, you may be trying to find ways to keep yourself warm. There are safe ways to go about it. Insulate your windows and doors with something like a towel or a blanket. This can keep the cold air from coming in. Closing your blinds and curtains also helps. If you have a fireplace, stock up on firewood. Never bring a generator inside or use your stove or oven for heat. That is what leads to carbon monoxide poisoning. We've got continuing coverage all morning of the winter weather in North Texas and across the country, how others are dealing with this bitterly cold winter system and how it's impacting the vaccine rollout. That's after the break. Time right now, 6:06. We'll be right back.